Coming up on Mountain News this morning, officials are reminding people of boat safety after a deadly incident. And Senator McConnell is giving some insight on what he wants to accomplish before leaving office.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6 a.m. on Monday, April 29th. Now let's send it over to meteorologist Mace Michaels for a look at your forecast this morning.
Good morning, Olivia. We're looking at warm weather conditions for us, starting off here in Wise at 52 degrees and just a few little rays of the sun creeping up. You notice a couple of clouds out there, but the sky is generally mostly clear. Same thing here in Hazard, maybe a few clouds around, but there'll be lots of sunshine overall today. A little warmer, Hazard starting now at 59, and even as warm as 64 in Somerset. One of the cooler readings, Jonesville at 50 and Clintwood right now at 49. But overall, it is more of a summer feeling day, or at least it will be, than feeling like spring. And when you look at the calendar, April, you feel a little more like later on into late May and June. Mostly clear over the area now. A lot of shower and thunderstorm activity to our west. This won't make it here today. Some of the clouds will late afternoon and evening. The rain will hold off until tomorrow. So our forecast warming through the 60s this morning, on up into the 80s for later on this afternoon, and we will see lots of sunshine. Full forecast in just a few minutes. We'll get you through the rest of the week and up to Derby weekend.
All right, Mace, thank you. Tragedy on Lake Cumberland Saturday morning after a boat crash left one person dead and another injured. Jessica Umbro spoke with Fish and Wildlife about this popular recreation spot and how to stay safe while out on the water.
You're just, you're running things through your mind. You know, what's going on? You know, we lost a life, or do we have people that's badly injured? And from that very moment until you get to the scene, you're trying to gather information.
Sergeant Wayne Wilson with the Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife says as the summer months get closer, those looking to cool off at Lake Cumberland should be aware of safety hazards while out on the water.
This time of year, if you're boating on Lake Cumberland, there's a lot of logs, a lot of trash floating, and we would recommend slowing your speeds down.
He says time of day is also important. In the accident that killed one person and left another injured, the lack of light at 1:30 a.m. made things more difficult.
They were operating after dark, and that enhances the dangers. You can't see those things floating in the water.
And in addition to slowing down, checking the clock and your speed on the water, there's a simple addition to your lake day gear that can prevent drowning deaths.
In my personal boat, it's not an option. You wear your life jacket. And there's accidents that happen that this wouldn't prevent a death, but there's accidents that happen where people's drowned, that if they'd had a life jacket on, that they would still be with us today.
Jessica Umbro, WKYT.
Sergeant Wilson says the person injured in Saturday morning's crash is in stable condition. Friends and family gathered at the Callahan Funeral Home to celebrate the life of a beloved sports personality. Teddy Painter died on April 20th, and his funeral was hosted last Saturday. As a longtime sports reporter, some of his friends reflect on his career working in the sports field, doing what he loved.
And I sent him some stats, and he put it all in words for me and sent it back to me. I printed it that Sunday in the paper, and my boss already reminded. He said, "Son," I said, "how'd you write such a great story being a rookie like that?" And I just smiled and I said, "Well, I had a little bit of help." He looked at me and said, "Teddy helped you, didn't he?" I said, "Yeah, thank God for Teddy." I said, "Yeah, Teddy helped me." And he said, "That's great." So that's the kind of person Teddy was. You call him anytime, 3 o'clock in the morning, it didn't matter. Teddy would be there for you. And I love him, and I miss him, and I thank God for him. And rest in peace, brother.
It's very rare that people wake up in the morning from their earliest to their going away. They got to do what they loved, and he did. He loved that. He loved sports.
Painter was 68 years old. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell appeared on Face the Nation Sunday morning During his appearance, McConnell says before leaving the Senate, he intends to use his influence to increase the U.S. defense budget, no matter who is elected president in November. When asked about the recently passed foreign aid bill and Russia's progress in Ukraine, McConnell addressed whether the delay was thanks to Republicans and the common ground both parties had to reach.
Many of them, yeah. We took too long. This issue was like a family reunion, if you will, with a lot of different points of view being expressed around the table. All the Democrats were for Ukraine. There's no question that the debate was in our family, on our side, and there was a lot of skepticism for a long time, but I think it got better. And I think we proved that earlier this week.
McConnell also says that his focus isn't on the presidential race, but to get Republican control back in the Senate. High school students in Laurel County opened their new greenhouse. WYMT's RJ Johnson spoke with students on their move and how the program is beneficial.
Future Farmers of America students at South Laurel High School are getting a look into the agricultural industry with the new greenhouse.
So there's definitely been a lot of challenges, and this greenhouse has more features than our old one.
Secretary Kira Oakley says the new space gives them the opportunity to do more with the new equipment.
Such as like the automatic sprinklers, we never had any of that. We had to do everything by ourselves in the old greenhouse, and so they've taught us how to use all the new equipment.
FFA President Kadrian Lawson says other students get to use the greenhouse during school hours, saying it prepares them for the agriculture industry and beyond.
So we have a lot of our students in this class that aren't part of the club, but they still have been a huge help and hand to get the greenhouse going and working. So that's definitely a good way to put your foot in the door to the agricultural community. It also is good at being, if you even want to be a salesperson, then working on Saturdays and working during, people come up here during our class period that we're here, and we have to help them out and show them around, tell them the prices, help them with whatever they have questions about.
Saying growing your own food is a life skill.
And even just a life skill is knowing how to grow your own vegetables. So like that's something that anybody can use. Everybody needs tomatoes and onions and cucumbers and stuff like that. So just knowing how to start those plants and get them going is a good life skill.
In London, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
Lawson says they will be open for the next 3 Saturdays or until they are sold out. Over in Pikeville, more than 100 people gathered at the elementary school gym to look at more than 600 pieces of artwork. Pikeville Elementary School hosted their annual art show. The art show displayed artwork from students kindergarten through 6th grade. Art teacher Chaslyn Sloan says the process that led to the students being able to display their artwork was like a true artist experience.
It's a lot to just put it up. But for them, I started weeks ago with learning how to mat your piece, learning how to make an artist statement or a tag for your piece. Just simple things like that most people in like the real world, or if you're not an artist, you don't know how to do. I went ahead and I started instilling that in them now. That way they know how to do it when they want to go down the road.
Sloan says she started with the idea of a themed art show, but later learned she needed to be flexible as the year progressed. We will have more on the Pikeville Art Show on our website, WYMT.com. And as we welcome in the month of May and say goodbye to April this week, many are already enjoying some of those beautiful blooming flowers. And with our Kentucky spring in full swing, folks are headed out the door to pick up some plants for their home. For Joe Ellis of the Sunshine Grow Shop, the saying April showers brings May flowers is a no-brainer.
Right now we're experiencing a kind of a warm spell. We've always used Derby Day as kind of the kickoff to the gardening center. It is definitely time to start thinking about planting if you're not planting already.
So whether you pick petunias or tulips, spending time planting your spring flowers is something all Kentuckians can enjoy together. The Kentucky Transportation Cabinet announced a road closure in Knott County this week. Kentucky 3391 will be closed starting at 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. today and Tuesday. Work will begin between Blessed Lane and Memory Lane, mile marker 3.15. Accommodations for school buses and emergency vehicles will be made All other traffic should find an alternate route.
Warmer weather for us today, starting off mild this morning. Whitesburg, you're beginning the day at 57 degrees, and we have a mostly clear sky as the first rays of the sun are starting to creep up right around the mountains. As you look here in Hazard, scattered high clouds up above us, but generally mostly sunny sky as well, and beginning the day at 59. 51 in Manchester and 50 in Jonesville, a little cooler. Same thing here in Clintwood and another 51 there in Grundy, but as warm as 64 in Somerset and 63 in Williamsburg. So we have mild conditions generally overall. And as you look here across eastern Kentucky, the sky is mostly clear, and it will be through the majority of the day. Some high clouds have moved into the central sections of the state. The thicker cloud cover is well back to the west, with several areas of showers and thunderstorms from Arkansas into Illinois. That area of rain will move northeastward, so our travel weather forecast looks rather quiet, pleasant, and warm for today. High temperatures warm up well into the 80s as we get you out the door, and again, it looks like it will be mostly sunny. Coming up here as WYMT Mountain News continues this morning, I'll have the full forecast right through Derby weekend.